Hi, I'm Susan. I play the flute, and I play in many different groups around the Seattle area. And I started playing music as a young child. I played the violin and the piano, and did a little bit of cello, and was very interested in all instruments. I chose the flute, honestly, because it was very portable, because it's so small, and I lived on a big hill, as many of us do around here, and I had to walk a long way to school. So I wanted something that would be easy to carry, and this was my choice. I didn't realize I was going to do it for the whole rest of my life, and it's been really fun to stick with that choice, actually, all these years. So this is my flute, and it's a member of the woodwind family. It's not made of wood, like many other woodwinds, but it can be. Most flutes nowadays are made of silver or gold or any kind of metal. It has keys, like the other woodwind instruments, that change the note. And it has a place to blow. Now, some other woodwinds have a reed that they blow on. We don't have that. We just have this hole here that we blow across. It's like blowing on a pop bottle, really. If you've ever taken an empty pop bottle and blown across it, it's the same thing. So you just make a little air go across there, and you can make a sound. And then changing your fingers on the keys makes the different notes. Like that. And the flute is a higher instrument, higher sounding, because it's smaller. So I'd like to show you the range of my flute. My flute starts from approximately in the middle of a piano. So if you have a big piano keyboard and you look about a little left of the halfway spot, that's where the flute starts. But wait, there's more. Now, I can play above that, but it doesn't sound real good. So then if you want to play higher, the flute has a smaller counterpart, and this is called a piccolo. The word piccolo in Italian just means small. So this is a piccolo flute, and it plays even higher, so because it's so small. And you can go even up beyond that if you want. Anyway, so between these instruments, we can get a lot of the high notes. And what I like about those is we get to play the melody a lot. So that's kind of fun. My flute has three parts: the head joint, the body, and the foot joint. So the foot joint is the smallest section. It just has a very few keys on it. And we use that entirely. I use my pinky on that, actually, to operate these keys, and that plays my lowest notes. The body has all the rest of the keys, and there are a lot of keys, front and back, and I use my fingers to work those keys. And what's nice is the flute, you can play just about anything on the flute. We have so many keys, and the fingerings work pretty well, and you can give us just about anything, we can do it if we practice it. And then this part is the head joint, and that's just the part we blow on. There are no keys. And it's kind of a simple instrument to look at. And mine's made of silver, and I like gold a little bit right here. So I have gold on here, but most flutes are just made of silver. And they're nice. They're shiny if you've cleaned them up. Mine is only moderately clean today. But on the flute, what I really like about it, not only is it easy to carry, but we can play almost anything. And you can play something very slow and soulful and beautiful, or something fast and lively, and your fingers will be able to keep up. So the first piece I'd like to play for you is a slow and beautiful piece, and it shows how the flute can sound like a singing voice. This piece was composed by a blind woman, about 250 years ago. Next, I'd like to play for you a piece called Le Bosque. It was by a French composer who lived about 300 years ago. And what I like about this piece is it shows the agility of the flute. So we have all these keys, and we can move them pretty quickly, as long as we've practiced our fingers to do that. And it shows also how you can put a lot of notes together in a row. I can play short notes and long notes and all sorts of things like that. And the flute is just fun for having these sprightly melodies. So my flute is a modern flute, and flutes have looked like this for over 100 years, 100 and many years. But prior to that time, they were usually made of wood, and the earliest flutes had no keys. Okay, so they might have been carved from maybe a piece of bamboo or whatever someone could find, and they had holes that you could cover. I don't know if you can see inside here, there are holes, but we have keys to help them operate. But the early flutes would just have holes, like a recorder, if you've tried recorder at school, very similar to that. And we would blow from the side still like this. Over the years, they gradually added keys. So about 300 years ago, you had one key on the flute. And then by the 1800s, you had 4, 6, 8 keys. And then they just kept adding more and more keys and changing to make things more efficient, and then we ended up with this, which has a lot of keys. And then they found that metal is a little bit louder and a little more stable than the wood. Now my piccolo is made of wood. They also make piccolos out of plastic for marching band, which is nice because they don't crack. The wood can crack a little bit if you're not careful. They make piccolos also out of metal. So those will have a variety of things. You can still get a flute with all these keys made out of wood, if you choose. More easy to find one made out of metal, though. This is my flute case, and it's very easy to carry around. I have a little waterproof cover that I keep on it. And then inside here, I have a cleaning rod with a handkerchief so that I can clean my flute out. And so I like to use a piece of silk. You can use a cotton handkerchief, and then I just take the flute apart. It only takes about a minute to do this, and I just run this through each section and clean it out, put it back in the case. So it's very easy to take care of. Once in a while, I'll wipe the fingerprints off it and that sort of thing. And I think the best part for me about playing music was not just playing the instrument by myself, but it was something that I could do with other kids and now with other adults. It's something that we can do together and be part of a group, and it's something I've been able to do with friends through my whole life. And so I really enjoy being able to play with other, instruments in a group, in an orchestra, in a band, in a small group. And it's fun. My kids are now learning instruments, and it's been fun to watch them enjoy that same fun that I had.